Hi everyone, today I'm going to be showing you how you can unlock Tarecgosa's Visage as a permanent addition to your mount collection from the very start of the first questline from Cataclysm all the way to the end of the quest chain in Dragonflight. Until recently, Tarecgosa's Visage was a mount that could only be used by players who had the legendary staff from Cataclysm, meaning it was exclusive to staff wielders and it never counted towards players' mount collections. But as of Dragonflight patch 10.1, that is no longer the case. For players that have the staff, there is now a questline in the Azure span working with Caligos and the Blue Dragonflight that culminates in acquiring Tarecgosa as a permanent mount that can be learned to your account, and therefore used by any other character on your account. If you don't have the original staff from the raid questline from Cataclysm, don't worry, I will walk you through each step in completing that process before we move on to the Dragonflight questline. To get started on obtaining Dragonwrath, the legendary staff, you first need to make sure you're playing a class that can equip a staff. So mages, druids, priests, shamans, warlocks and evokers are all eligible for this questline. And if you tend to play WoW single player, I would recommend completing this questline as a warlock if possible, as you can use a warlock pet for one of the later quests rather than needing another player, but we'll get to that part soon. The first quest is called Your Time Has Come, and this can be picked up by killing a Molten Lord in the Firelands on any difficulty. This will hand in either Stormwind for Alliance or Orgrimmar for Horde. With that handed in, you'll be prompted with a quest called a Legendary Engagement, as long as you've completed either the Blackwing Descent or Throne of Four Winds raids, or the Bastion of Twilight dungeon. After speaking with Anachronos in the Caverns of Time, you'll start your first Firelands quest called the All-Seeing Eye. This requires you to farm 25 Eternal Embers from bosses inside the Firelands, as well as to purchase 3 Sands of Time from Yasmin in Uldum at the coordinates 26, 7. The drop rate of the Eternal Embers is fairly high, and the quest should take you roughly 2 to 3 resets to complete. Remember, you can run the raid on normal and heroic difficulty once per week to max out your drop chances. With the quest items handed in, your next quest is On a Wing and a Prayer, which requires you to travel to Koldara in Borean Tundra in Northrend, where you'll also pick up Through a Glass Darkly. These brief quests will lead you to Mount Hyjal to speak to Caligos. The next quest is called Delegation, and this is the trickiest and potentially most time-consuming quest of the whole chain. You'll need to return to the Firelands and use a specific item during 4 of the boss encounters before you kill them. Those bosses are Beth'Tilac, Shannox, Rhyolith and Alysrazor. This quest is also the reason I gave the disclaimer about solo players running this questline as a warlock if they aren't able to get another player to help them, but this can also reportedly be done solo as a resto druid. For Beth'Tilac, you need to loot 3 obsidian-flecked chitin fragments that spawn next to a dead cinderweb drone. The cinderweb drones take a while to spawn, but you only need to kill 1 to loot all of the fragments you need, and each fragment will spawn directly beneath where that drone dies. With the 3 fragments, you then need to combine them by clicking on them in your inventory to make a dull chitinous focus. Take this focus up to the top of Beth'Tilac's web by killing one of the cinderweb spinner ads hanging from the web. You can then interact with the filament strand to ascend to the top platform. Then simply wait for the boss to cast Smoldering Devastation. Halfway through the cast, place the chitin focus down so that it's hit by the ability and is transformed into a charged chitinous focus. Make sure you loot the focus back from the web before you kill the boss, otherwise you won't be able to travel back up to her web to pick it up. Shannox's item is the one that will either require the help of another person or a pet. This is because Shannox's item, the Emberstone fragment, only spawns when a crystal prison trap goes out and is destroyed, and this ability is only procced when Shannox has more than 1 target in the fight. So warlocks can put their minion on passive, or restoration druids can even spec into Grove Guardians to achieve the same effect. Note that this does not work with Force of Nature for balanced druids, as they will immediately aggro onto the boss and kill it. To get Shannox's quest items solo, I used my Imp. I made sure to leave it on passive so that it didn't kill the boss too early, and then I made it pull the boss for me by using Fireball on one of Shannox's pets. You then simply need to wait for a crystal prison trap to go out, and step into it to trigger it. This will spawn one fragment right next to the trap for you to collect. Do this 3 times and combine the fragments to make a dull Emberstone focus. Make sure to keep Shannox alive even after you make the dull focus. You then need to place the dull Emberstone focus down as Shannox casts Hell Spear. When it's successfully hit, it will become a charged Emberstone focus. Loot this and you're ready to move on. The next boss is Lord Rhyolith, and this one should be much more straightforward. You should find Rhyolite fragments laying around the edge of the room once you engage the boss. Just be aware that only one spawns at a time, so you'll likely need to do laps of the arena to find the 3 that you need. Combine the 3 fragments into a dull Rhyolite focus and place it on the ground near Rhyolith before one of his concussive stomp casts, to convert the dull Rhyolite focus into a charged Rhyolite focus. Pick it back up, end the encounter, and you're ready to move on. Finally, you need to head to Alysrazor. Once you engage her, you'll find a pyre shell fragment each time a voracious hatchling spawns from the eggs that get brought into the boss room. Pick up 3 of these and combine them into a dull pyre shell focus. Then you need to wait for quite a while until phase 3 of the encounter, where Alysrazor burns out after using Firestorm and Fiery Vortex. She'll be laying on the ground with ads channeling onto her. Keep an eye on her energy level and be ready to drop the dull pyre shell focus on the ground just before the boss reaches full energy. Just before she takes flight again, she will knock you back with her full power ability, and this should also convert the dull pyre shell focus into a charged one. Once you have all 4 charged foci, head to the Circle of Thorns in the northwest of the Firelands. You'll see a portal icon on your instance map showing you where to go. Walk up to the dormant portal and use your foci to open it. This will consume all 4 items, but the portal will remain open for you from now on. Inside the Circle of Thorns, kill the 4 channeling mobs to summon an ancient that you also need to kill. Finally, a large fire elemental will spawn, and once defeated, you'll be able to loot the branch of Nordrassil. Take this to Tarecgosa at the Amber Ledge in Borean Tundra to be rewarded with the branch of Nordrassil as a quest reward. The next couple of quests will take place in Caldara and mostly involve RP, so they shouldn't take you very long to complete. Afterwards, you'll be given the quest Time Grows Short, which leads you back to the Firelands to collect 1000 seething cinders from bosses, with each boss dropping them apart from Ragnaros. Again, run the raid once a week on normal and heroic to max out your drop chances, and this should take you roughly 3 or 4 resets to complete. With the quest complete, return to Caldara in Borean Tundra to proceed, and there is one last major quest to complete before you can unlock the legendary staff. Upon returning to Caldara, you'll complete an RP quest called Alignment, which will convert your branch of Nordrassil into the Rune Staff of Nordrassil. With this, you can pick up the Heart of Flame quest, once again returning you to the Firelands where you need to kill each boss, and then equip and use your rune staff on their corpses to siphon smouldering essences from them. You'll need 250 of these, once again available from every boss except for Ragnaros. However, once you've got all your essences, which should take a few weeks of normal and heroic clears, you will find the Heart of Flame where you kill Ragnaros, which you need to loot to finish this quest. You can then hand this quest into your faction capital city, where you will finally be awarded with Dragonwrath, Tarecgosa's Rest, the legendary staff that you can now keep in your inventory to take with you to complete the Blue Dragonflight campaign questline in the Dragon Isles. Since Dragonwrath only allows you to transform into Tarecgosa whilst you have the legendary staff with you, you now need to head to the Azure archives in the Azure span in the Dragon Isles to complete a few straightforward quest chains to unlock Tarecgosa as a permanent mount in your collection journal. Just be mindful that if you haven't completed the Azure Span campaign questline from Dragonflight, called Azure Spanner, you may not have access to this questline, as you need to speak with both Tarecgosa and Tarecgosa. With the Azure Archives quests available, you'll first be tasked with heading to various zones in the game such as Theramore, Winterspring, Stranglethorn, and so on. These quests shouldn't take you very long, and you'll also have convenient portals to and from the Azure archives to cut down your travel time. You'll then be taken to the Veiled Ossuary and the Temporal Conflux to complete a few easy quests there too. The entire questline culminates at the Veiled Ossuary with Caligos with the quest Rhapsody in Blue, where there's some short RP and you are given Tarecgosa as a mount to learn to your account. So there we have it. That is how you can earn Tarecgosa's Visage as a permanent mount as of Dragonflight patch 10.1. Thank you for watching today's video, and as always, if you have any questions, please leave a comment down below. For now though, I wish you all the best in your mount grind, have a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye!